The Constitution of India, Preamble. We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic and to secure to all its citizens justice, social, economic and political, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith and worship, equality of status and of opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. In our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, do hereby adopt, enact and give to ourselves this Constitution.
Hello my dears, welcome back to the world of virtual classes. Meeting you after a long time, right? I hope you all are doing well and updating your works properly. So let's begin today's session. Just to fresh up your mind, in today's class, let us learn some basics of grammar. So children, in today's session, let us see what are the types of verbs. As you all know, a verb is a word that describes an action in a sentence. Now let us see what are the types of verbs. They are regular verbs and irregular verbs. So children, for regular verbs, the past tense ending and past participle ending is always the same. So in case of regular verbs, the past tense and the past participle ending will always be the same. See the examples. These are the present tense, past tense and past participle tense. So here the present tense cook changed to cooked and cooked. Here the verbs remains the same, is always the same, that is in the past and past participle tenses the word remains as cooked, cooked, wash, washed, washed, work, worked, worked, smile, smiled, smiled. So these are all examples for regular verbs. Why? Because here in regular verbs the past tense and past participle tense ending is always the same. Here the ending is ed and also in past participle the ending is ed. Here it is always the same. So children, in the case of regular verbs, the past tense ending and the past participle ending are always the same, but in case of irregular verbs, the past tense ending and the past participle ending are always variable, which means it is always changing. See the examples. In present tense, eat, it becomes ate in the past tense and it becomes eaten in past participle. Write, wrote, written. Give, gave, given. Break, broke, broken. So in case of irregular verbs, the past tense ending and the past participle ending are always changing or they are always variable. So this is all about regular verbs and irregular verbs. So children, now let's move on to the next topic, that is noun phrase and verb phrase. Now let us see what is a noun phrase. A noun phrase can be a noun, a pronoun or a group of words that does the function of a noun. So what is a noun phrase? It can be a noun or a pronoun or a group of words that does the function of a noun. That is what is called as a noun phrase. What about verb phrase? A verb phrase consists of a helping verb or a main verb which may or may not be followed by other words. So these are called as noun phrase and verb phrase. So in a sentence we can see noun phrase and which is immediately followed by a verb phrase. Okay children, now let us see how to split the noun phrase and verb phrase of a sentence. So children, if you are asked to write the noun phrase and a verb phrase of a sentence, you have to write like this, okay? See the example. The little child was crying for milk. So, we have divided the sentence into two parts. The first part, the little child, is the noun phrase. Was crying for milk is the verb phrase. Again, the little child, here the act as a determiner. Little act as an adjective and child act as a noun. So, this is the noun phrase part. Next, we move on to the verb phrase part, that is was crying for milk. Was act as a helping verb. Crying act as a verb. For act as a preposition and milk act as a noun. So, this is how we split the noun phrase and verb phrase of a sentence. Okay? Now, let us see one more example. The cat sat on the mat. So, here the cat act as a noun phrase and sat on the mat is the verb phrase. In noun phrase, the cat, here the is the determiner and cat act as a noun. So, what is a determiner? Articles, demonstratives and possessives. It can be an article, it can be a demonstrative or possessives. All these are together called as a determiner. So, in that sentence, if you have an article or a demonstrative or a possessive, it comes under a determiner. Articles like a, an or the, demonstratives like this, that, those, etc. Possessives like my, our, his, her, etc. So, all these come under determiner. So, this is the noun phrase part. Next, we move on to the verb phrase part. In verb phrase part, this is sat on the mat. This is the verb phrase part. Sat here act as a verb. On act as a preposition. The is the determiner and mat act as a noun. So, we split the noun phrase and verb phrase of the sentence, the cat sat on the mat. Okay children, this is all about our today's grammar session. I hope you have understood about what are regular verbs and irregular verbs and parts of a sentence. So, try to find out more examples for regular verbs, irregular verbs, and if you have any doubts you can ask me. So, update your works, study well, stay safe and be safe. Let's wind up the session. Meet you in the next class. Till then, it's bye from your Aparna teacher.